Alright, hello. I'm going to give you a little lesson on Canadian geography here. This is the last part of the course. And we'll be looking at, obviously, Canada as the country that is United States neighbor to the north. And it's located, well, one of the boundaries here is the 49th parallel that we've looked at in American geography. And this border here between Canada and the United States is known as the longest undefended border in the world, because Canada and the United States have a long history together. They have the same mother country, same mother countries, and a long history that they have in common. One interesting thing about Canada, however, is that in 1776 or thereabouts, Canada decided not to rebel against the British government. So the Americans of the time, the Founding Fathers, sent ambassadors to Canada, and there were a number of British colonies here as well, but they opted not to rebel against the government. And as a result, Canadian geography is a little bit different. It's one of the reasons why Canadian geography is different than American geography. What we have in Canada are called provinces, and that's much more of a term that was common in the British imperial system rather than states. So Canada is made up of 10 provinces and 3 territories. So it has 13 divisions. Canada is about the same size as the United States, so actually a little bit bigger. So as a result, because there are only 13 divisions, you can imagine that those are really large chunks. All of these provinces, Ontario, Quebec, they are about the size of Alaska. They are very large. They're certainly bigger than Texas or California, what we would call really big states. So they are very large. And yet, Canada's population is only about 10% of that of the United States. So it's a bigger country geographically, but it's 10 times smaller in terms of population. Why is that? Well, in very simple terms, because of its location. Because it's so far to the north. This line here, which is kind of interest, which goes across here, which you can find more easily in an atlas, is called the Arctic Circle. So you can see that a good portion of Canada exists in what's called the Arctic Circle. It's at the same level as Greenland. It's at the same level as Alaska. So this is cold. This is cold. So Damon and Hayden, who live in Minnesota here, have got nothing on the Canadians who have a lot colder weather up there. So it's one of the reasons why there are fewer people in Canada. So, in terms of its geography and how I divided up the lesson plans and everything, well, we have in Canada provinces, as I say, and they're kind of grouped in Canada in 3 main groups. This grouping here is known as Atlantic Canada. For obvious reasons, it's on the Atlantic. And this group here, 2 provinces really, Ontario and Quebec, are known as Central Canada. It's a little bit strange because it still seems to be on the eastern part of the country, but it's really thought of in Canada as Central Canada because Ottawa, which is on the border between Ontario and Quebec, is the national capital. And so it's kind of the center of the country. Toronto, which is right here, also happens to be the largest city in Canada. Montreal, the second largest. So a lot of the most important parts of the country are right there, and it's kind of, as a result, thought of as the center. These provinces here are known as Western Canada, and this particular group here in the middle are known as the Prairies sometimes. And so those are the divisions, and what we have here in the north are the 3 territories: the Yukon Territory, the Northwest Territories, the Nunavut Territory. And why are these called territories and not provinces? Well, for the same reason that territories turned into states in the United States. There just are not that many people up there. So they are large divisions, but they are not large enough to become provinces. So there are 3 separate territories there. Alright, that's about it. One other interesting fact here, this is known as Hudson Bay, this large body of water. It's known as Hudson Bay. We have a Hudson River here in the United States, right, that goes down to New York. It's named after the same explorer because he was looking for what? Northwest Passage. And this was one route that he tried, this was the other, and he came around this way, and he eventually died there. So it's named after him. Hudson Bay in Canada is named after the same Henry Hudson, who was an explorer. Alright, that's it.